welcome to episode 3 of Virtually AWA. We'll start this week's episode by just recapping something I forgot to tell you last time, which is that we're doing a tag team tournament to decide the vacant AWA tag team titles. The first match you saw last week on episode 2, it was the Midlands Wrecking Crew defeating Phantasmo and Monty Bird. We've also got Tony, Pacino and Connie Steele. They are taking on the Billington Bulldogs this week in episode 3. Next week, we're going to have the Blue Strike Force versus the Dogs of War. And finally, the week after that, we've got Triple B and the Funk taking on the Night Terrors. So we'll close this and we'll get into this week's show. So we kick off. We've got Chris Cage, you saw him last week, making his big appearance, his big surprise return to AWA, challenging Nick Flag. This week he starts the show by going up to Petey Crockett, who is the authority figure, and he asks, can I have a match with Nick Flag? And Petey Crockett thinks about it and he thinks, yes, you've got that match, but it's in 3 weeks' time. Gives me time to promote it and book tickets ahead of this big showdown. So in 3 weeks' time, we'll see Nick Flag take on Chris Cage for the AWA Commonwealth Championship. The segment got a 24. That's a good way to start the show. Okay. We'll book that later on. And next up, we have Dickie Bowen. He comes out to the ring and he's going to offer Mike Cash the chance to take him on for the YouTube Championship. We'll see if he accepts the challenge later in the show. But now, Mike Cash, I believe, has a match. So we'll 24 rating for that. So good work by Dickie Bowen on the mic. Next up, in a bout that had decent reaction but subpar wrestling, Mike Cash, the Preacher Man, defeated Phantasmo, the Rainbow Warrior, in 7 minutes and 30 by pinfall. They both got around 18-19, so the segment got an 18. That's pretty decent. Mike Cash picks up the win, and it looks like he's going to go get the microphone, so let's see what he has to say. Mike Cash looks to the back, and he goes, no thanks. Puts the mic down, and obviously Mike Cash doesn't fancy taking on Dickie Bowen, so is he scared, or does he just not think Dickie Bowen is on his level and it's not even worth going for the YouTube Championships? That rating gets an 18, so we'll see what happens from that. But Mike Cash at the moment is turning down the chance to have a title shot. Coming up next, Thomas J. Curtis, the head of the network stable, comes out with Rio, his new signing from the women's division, his new client to join the network. And he goes, take a look at the screen, and he has a video package to show us. And as you see, the video comes out. We got no rating for that. Hopefully that doesn't damage the overall rating for the show. Obviously the video package I put together, I hope you enjoyed it. It's clips basically Rio from the various promotions she's worked in the past, First Females amongst others across the UK. She's someone who was rated to possibly go into NXT UK in the future, so keep a lookout for her. She's obviously now joined AWA in this universe. Next up, we have a match with Rio, her debut in AWA. She takes on one of the former women's champions, Peggy Lee, and defeats her by submission in 6 minutes and 9 seconds. She gets a rating of just 12, and Peggy Lee has 20. Rio was off her game though, so hopefully she'll pick it up in future episodes when she next has a match. This got the match, got the crowd hotter though, so that's all that matters with a rating of 14. Next up, we have the main event, which is the Billington Bulldogs taking on Connie Steele and Tony Pacino, and they win in 7 minutes and 58 seconds when Mark Billington makes Connie Steele tap out. Connie Steele, for those unaware, is the daughter of Klondike Kate, one of the British institutions in women's wrestling in the past. And this match advances them to the semi-finals of the AWA Tag Team Tournament. Thomas and Mark got around 14 and 13 ratings. Tony got a 19 and Connie got a 15. And that's not the greatest ending to the show with 15 rating, but we were bound to have a lower rating at some point. The 20s were optimistically well for the first few weeks. But that ends our third week's show. So overall, 17 rating. We've increased the popularity in 13 regions, which I think we did last week as well. So all in all, pretty decent week. We've built on the storyline. Obviously, Mike Cash refuses Dickie Bowen's challenge. What will lead from that? Rio, why is she here? What's she going to do? Is she going to take out Lacey James? We'll see if she challenges her for the women's title in the future weeks. And Chris Cage has obviously got his match in 3 weeks' time for the Commonwealth Championship. So that's all for week 3. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for AWA.